live class for Beadaholique.com. Welcome, welcome. So it is Tuesday, September 9th. Oh my gosh, we're into September. I hope all of you all are doing great. I hope you had a great weekend and that your week is off to a great start. Maybe you saw Julie yesterday. Julie had a great class yesterday. I enjoyed that one. I've got another fun class for you today. I hope everybody's doing great. Tell me if you're out there and you're watching. Who's out there? Where are you watching from? I'd love to see who's here so we can hang out, have a good time today. Oh, there's Vicky from Maryland. Hi, Vicky. And Tanya's here. Marla is here from El Paso, Texas. Hi. Oh, that Maria. I'm sorry, Maria. My eyes. Woo. Tanya is here from Southeast Florida. I hope you guys are all ready for a little bit of time together today. So, as you may know, the whole Beadaholique.com is going away. The shop is closing, but we are here to have a good time until we can't anymore. So we're having these classes, we're hanging out with all of you. This is such a wonderful community here at Beadaholique.com. So we're excited to have you here as long as we can have you here. So I'm grateful that all of you are joining us. Oh, I'm seeing lots more folks joining. So we've got Sally Webster from the Oregon coast. Hi, Sally. Kat is here from PA. Jane is here from Long Island. Teresa from Post Huron, Michigan. Rhonda from South Carolina. Fern, hello, Fern from Florida. Emily is here from PA. Lisa from PA. We got a lot of PA folks today. We've also got Giordano. Faye from Portland, Oregon. Hi. Dee from Miami. I love Miami. And there's Michelle. Hi, Michelle. I'm so glad you're here. Michelle is my faithful sidekick. Denise is here from Pembroke Pines, Florida. That sounds lovely. Sherry is here from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Hello, hello. Eric's here. Hi, Eric. Eric's also the brave person to hang out with us today. Charisse from DC is here. Maureen Murray from Adirondack Mountains in New York. Say that 10 times fast. Deb is here from SoCal. Hi. Let's see who else. Candy from Athens, Georgia. Susan J from Seattle. Hello, hello. Gosh, you guys, I'm so grateful that you all join us. So as I said, Beadaholique is closing its doors, but we are still open and everything is 40% off. So that in and of itself is something to just, embrace and run with. So if you love products from Beadaholique, or maybe you've got like some things you're planning through the end of the year, like maybe some, craft fairs or some arts and crafts shows at church or at the school. Maybe you've got to stock up on some things. Now's the time. Things are going and they're going fast. So they're selling out. And you may find that some things that you're looking for actually already are sold out, but we still have lots to share with you. So we're hoping that you'll take advantage of that 40% off. And if you go to Beadaholique.com, you don't need a coupon code. You don't need anything fancy. Just everything is marked down 40%. So tools and beading wire and beads and all the things, 40% off. So that's pretty cool. So who else is here? Let me check, make sure I got everybody. Let me go back here a little bit. Oh my gosh, you guys, so many of you here. Julianne from Iowa. Chris is here from New Hampshire. She said she made my purse charms with bricks and super duos into a bracelet. That's wonderful, Chris. Thank you so much. I'm glad you tried that out. Karen is here from Madison, Wisconsin. Very nice place. Robin is here from Oklahoma. Yay. She's here. Nicolette Eulery is here from Cooper City, Florida. I don't know where that is, but it sounds lovely. Tanya is saying hello to Eric. Cindy from Texas is here. Debbie J is here. Maria is here. Christy is here. Debbie J is watching from Oregon. Okay, you guys. So just a reminder, 40% off of everything. And how do you shop? So you can shop while you watch this live show today. So if you're watching at Beadaholique.com, that's the best place to watch and shop and hang out with all of us. So if you go to Beadaholique.com, go into your browser, type Beadaholique.com, and that little / symbol that goes like this, and the word live. It will pop you onto the page that will get you to this live stream. And that will allow you to chit chat with all of the Beadaholique community here, and it will allow you to shop the show. So how do you do that? Well, there's a little shopping bag icon on your screen. That will allow you to see everything that I've loaded into the show today. I've got cording, I've got beads, I've got all kinds of goodies that will allow you to make the project that we're going to talk about today and make today. You can shop while you watch. So I don't go away. You can go into that shopping bag and start loading things into your shopping cart. Just know that some things are in very limited stock. And as you know, with a closing sale, they're not coming back. So if you want to get all of these wonderful things at 40% off, do that today. Drop those things from the shopping bag into your shopping cart and make sure you check out before the end of the show. One more thing, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, we love that you watch there. I can't see your comments live. And you also should know that I'm going to be doing a giveaway today. So if you want to participate in the giveaway, you have to be at Beadaholique.com / live watching here so that we can see your comments for the giveaway. Ooh, okay, I need to take a moment. Guys, we are going to talk about one of my favorite techniques today. We're going to talk about macrame. Now, I'm going to be using a tool that is sold out. I'm sorry, it's not available, and there are no other tools that are available that I can do this on. So, but some of you I know have this. So I'm going to be working with the Rainbow Loom Wrap-it Loom. So we did a project with this, oh gosh, a couple months back, I think. And Julie's also done projects with the Wrap-it Loom as well. And we've had some fun with this, and I've had a great time using this tool. So I am going to be using it today. Maybe it will give you some ideas to make earrings, which is what we're going to be doing today. So I'm gonna flip the camera down, if you give me just one, and get you situated so you could see the loom. So hello, Michelle from Michigan and Mary J from San Antonio. So this is the Wrap-it Loom. And because it's not in stock, I'm not going to spend any time today going through how it works, how to put it together. I just want to focus on the technique so that if you have this tool, you can open up your instruction book, or you go to the Rainbow Loom I think it's their YouTube channel where they show some great instruction, and both Julie and I have also put this together on screen. So if you want to go back through old shows, watch on demand, we've put this together on screen as well. So Santa Barbara girl's here, she's back. So this is the loom, and I've got some things on the loom, but I wanted to show you first of all some samples of what I've done. So I love making macrame earrings. It is probably one of my most fun projects, the most fun, soothing, kind of self-soothing projects that I like to do. And there is actually a YouTube video that I did last year or the year before, and it was one of my most watched YouTube videos for Beadaholique.com. So I love doing this technique, and I wanted to show you a few older things. So this is a pair that I made, and this is with some Eslon cord, which I do have some Eslon cord in the show today. And believe it or not, These beads are 15O seed beads. So 15O seed beads are going to work on this cord and work with this technique. So yeah, so I think some of the Eslon may be out of stock, you guys. So I'm sorry about that. As you know, we've got limited stock available as Beadaholique.com is closing. But this is a pair just with some fringy tassels, some fun ear wires, and some 15O seed beads. So that's one example of a pair I made. Here's another pair I made, and this one is with some 11O seed beads and some Amiot cord, which is also in the show today. I like working with Eslon and Amiot equally. Both work great for these really small, these small knots, these small macrame technique. And I did a little fringy stuff here. Karen asks, could this be done by hand without a loom? Yes. I've used this, I've done this technique with the Beadalon tying station, and you can also do it with a macrame board or a clipboard, or you can tape to your work space. It's macrame. So if you've got a way to do macrame, whether it's taping things to a table, taping things to a board, the tying station, maybe you've even got like one of those naughty do-it-all boards, that would work as well. So I'm just using the Wrap-it Loom because I like to have a tool to hold on to things. So here's another version of the piece with some 11Os, with the earrings with 11Os, and some fringy sort of boho ends. And I really love it. Yes, Sandra Younger, she is great. She is fantastic. I love that tool too. So this project, I think, is incredibly bohemian. So I love to just make these long bohemian fun earrings. And this one is with some 11Os and some knots. And then I did these fun, long hanging fringy pieces with beads on them and some sort of fun little fringy tassels. So this is one of my favorite styles. I love making these. Hey, Julie P. Now, just recently, I thought I would show you with some larger beads. So I mostly, for my earlier designs, worked with 15s and 11s. But for our projects today, we're going to work primarily with 6s and 8s. And I thought these were super cool. And yes, my kind of earrings too, Julie V. So I actually integrated some jump rings into this design, and I did some mixed cord versions. So this is really fun. Karen, they would be great as bookmarks. This can also be bracelets, purse charms, you name it. These techniques can be translated to just about anything that you guys want to make. Thank you, Tanya. So these are really fun. This particular one is using Amiot cord, and I used 2 different colors. And I've got this beautiful green and this beautiful brown. I think these are great for fall and winter. You can also integrate these into other seasons. And I used for my beads this 8O, which is dyed silver lined pink frosted olivine. So this has a pink inside the bead, and the external is that really kind of cool frosted olivine color. Looks great with that cording. And then if you don't have these in your cart already, I would suggest you pop these in. These are 6Os, and this is bronze. You get this big, huge tube. These are excellent spacer beads. So even if you don't like macrame, you don't want to make this project, This is a great staple to have in your arsenal because this bead can do so many things. And I love this for fall designs. Jackie loves the green. I do too. I'm a big green fan. So these are fun. I also made these. I did not finish these, but I made these. I thought this was fun. I wanted you to see kind of a lighter colorway. And these were made with some amite cord. So I'll show you the amite cord I used. It's this white color, which is really a great staple. So white, black, and some of the neutrals are really great for all of your macrame projects. So white, really good. And then I used these two seed beads. So this one is an 8-0 matte opaque sour apple. And tell me that does not look like a sour apple. It's so pretty. So what is, Charisse, I love what you do with bronze beads and 15-0 seed beads. Thank you so much. And hey, Karen. And Debbie J loves the awesome colors. So this one, I thought the sour apple looked really beautiful with this color, which is opaque rainbow frosted cherry. So let's put sour apple and cherry together was my thought. So I've got a 6-0 and an 8-0 for these. And I just did some very simple macrame knots. Guys, these earrings are so easy. And all I'm going to be doing is probably the most simple macrame knots that exist. So I just want to show you how to do this, and you can do so many things after that. The sky is the limits. Oh, Zakaya must be here. Hello, hello. So these are fun. This is also using some of the same techniques, but just switching up the design a little bit, putting some beads side by side. This one was done also with amite cord. So let me show you the amite color. This is also a great neutral to throw in your cart. A great kind of grayish, beigeish. I would call it grayish. I know that's not a real color, but that's something I've heard people say. And then I have this beautiful green, another really cool green color. So this is opaque frosted shamrock. And these are the 8s, so that's the smaller bead in this design. And then look at this huge vial of these. These are actually out of stock, you guys. So I won't dwell. Silver lined milky amethyst. So some beautiful beads, seed beads, even though I'm not a seed beater. So, and I have so many other options for you in the show. So I've even thrown in some demi rounds because you can use demi rounds. Demi rounds also come in 8s. So demi rounds are an option. They're just a flatter version of a regular round seed bead. There's also these gorgeous beads. These are marbled opaque avocado pink. These are fantastic. They would be great for a project like this. And then I tried to pull out some kind of neutrals that you guys might want to work with. I'd throw all 3 of these in your cart because these are all great neutrals. So this one is a silver lined gray. So this can go with your blacks and your darker tones, some silver. This is a great one to have in your arsenal. So much versatility. And then I've got some lighter gray and some clear. So this one is glow in the dark, crystal bright blue. I have not tried the glow in the dark, and I can't make it dark enough in here for it to glow. I've got 27 lights in here. I exaggerate, but I can't make it dark enough, but I would try that out. That might be kind of fun for Halloween. And then this gray color, translucent gray, super cool color, great neutral. Just a few more to show you that you can drop into your cart and you can decide which ones you want to work with when you get them all home. This one I love. This is sapphire hyacinth lined. So this one's got all different beautiful shades. I just can't even tell you how fun these are. I got to open these up and show you these. Sorry, I get distracted by the sparkly things. Look at these. They are so beautiful. So they look blue, they look red, they look pink, they look yellow. They are fun. So if you put those onto a neutral cord, like the white or maybe the gray one, you might find some really fun applications for that. Here's a cool fall color. I promise you just a couple more here. Look at this fall color. This is gorgeous. This is a size 8 transparent frosted dark topaz. This would look great with your brown cording. So here's a brown cord. That would look beautiful. And then what if you like a good green, maybe a little kind of a mermaidy vibe? This color is phenomenal. Gold lined light aqua. This is like gold and aqua and super mermaidy. A great time to pick up all of these goodies at 40% off. So even if you're not into making mermaidy things right now, you might be into them next year, and these won't be 40% off when you're looking for them. So I would drop those in your cart too. All right. Whew. So I'm tired now. I'm going to sit back down. I'm standing now to show you all of these things, but I'm going to move all of these goodies away and just want to give you another fun project for a macrame earring. And I was playing around and I came up with this one. I was just thinking, flowers make me smile. Flowers make me cheerful. I know it's not spring and I know we're at the tail end of summer, but I thought a little floral earring might be pretty fun for us to make. So there's a couple of different techniques that really are they're all using the same knot. So you can learn to make these flowers and then these little flowers all in one project. Now you could do just these little daisies or just these little bursts of flowers. But you can split them up or you could do them all together. This is super boho. I didn't do anything with the bottom yet, but we can talk about the options for that. Thank you guys. I love this. I thought this was super fun. So we're going to make that. And as I said, I'm not going to go into all the technical stuff of this Wrap-it Loom. The objective today is just to show you how to make this macrame earring. And Santa Barbara girl, I agree. And we should wear flowers and celebrate flowers year round. So first of all, what I did here was I chose 2 different colors. Hard to see here, but I've got 2 different colors of Eslon. I think at least one of these is sold out. So I've got a bright hot pink and then this kind of mauve color. So I think the bright one is called neon pink and the other one is called like light rose or light mauve. I think this one is the one that's sold out because I'm seeing the pink one on the screen. So I used 2 colors. That's another thing for you to think about. Pick 2 colors because that can make your design a little bit more interesting too. Now, I thought also for our earrings that it might be a little easier for us to have some kind of metallic base to create a way for our earring to hang. So in my earlier designs, I've just got a little loop of cord, and that can sometimes be a little bit weird. So I just thought, let's try using a nice jump ring. This one I think is like an 8 or 10 millimeter jump ring. Let me take a quick look just to confirm. It's an 8, and you can, if you want, use a closed jump ring. That's preferable. This is an open jump ring, but you can use a closed one. That's usually the better option. Now, I pre-attached this. I want to let you know I can't give you an exact amount of cord that you need because each one of your designs are going to be a little bit different based on the length that you want your earring to be, based on the beads that you're going to use. So just know that you'll have to kind of see how things shape up when you start getting into your design and you start playing around. I always kind of go on the side of using more than I need because I don't want to run out. So just know that I can't give you the exact amount. So I'm going to take my jump ring and I'm going to go into this back section of the loom, and I'm going to attach it to one of those crazy little teeth back there. And then I'm going to take this plastic piece, and I want my cords to kind of be positioned. Actually, let me do that first. So I want my shorter cords. So my 2 inner cords are about, probably about 2 1/4 feet. And then my longer ones are probably like 3 feet, maybe 3 1/4 feet. You probably won't need that much, but I'm going to take those cords and position them because the bright pink cord is going to be my, my like base cord. So that's where we're going to wrap around. And then the lighter cord, the more mauve-y rose cord, is going to be what we're going to use to do our actual macrame knots. So in order for us to do this kind of a project, I'll show you here. So we're taking beads and wrapping them around beads that are on our central cords. So I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 beads that will be wrapped around. Now these are wrapped differently than these, but we have 7 of them in the central, on our central core cords. So in order to do that, I'm going to take my pink cords, and I actually need to cut one of these a little bit shorter. So I'm a lefty. You guys probably know that or may not. I'm a lefty, so sometimes that throws people off a little bit, but you can all do this project right-handed or left-handed. And I'm going to take these cords and I'm going to put 7 beads onto them. So I'm having a little struggle. So this is always what happens to me when I do this project off camera. I have absolutely no issue putting beads onto 2 cords, but when I get on camera, it becomes a struggle. So I'm going to string 7 beads onto my 2 central cords. So just be patient. And this cord actually is fairly fray resistant in my opinion, compared to some cords that I've seen out there on the market. So Eslon and Amiot are really kind of fray resistant. And you can use all kinds of things. You can use nail polish. You can use, there's a product out there that actually is like meant for this kind of a thing. I forget what it's called. I think we used to carry it here at Beadaholique.com, but it is sold out. But it is the kind of thing that you can use on your ends. And actually, I'm just refreshing my memory. So for the first 3 beads, first 3 beads are on your 2 cords. But guess what? We're going to make it a little bit easier. The next 4 cords are going to be, or the next 4 beads are going to be on 1 cord. So I'm just going to get my cords so they're not twisted around here, so I can actually see where they are. So like that. And then I'm going to put the last 4 beads on the alternating cord. So one on my right cord, one on my left cord, and these go on super easy on one cord. They go on like butter. So you're going to, on your core cords, those 2 central cords, you are going to have 2 beads here, 2 beads here, and 3 beads up here. Now, what I want to do is I want to secure these cords down at the bottom of my loom. So I'm going to push them through this bottom part of the loom. And you'll see this in the videos that we've shown you before. This is just kind of like getting those cords through and separated onto the teeth. So like that. And then I'm going to take this guy and secure my cord so this is nice and taut. Okay. Now, if you're using a different tool, your different tool might obviously work differently. So if you're using the tying station, or you're using some kind of clipboard or macrame board, you'll want to tamp down this center section and have your 2 working cords here. Okay. So let me just check on comments. Yeah, cut your cord slightly on the diagonal is a good tip. Thread Magic, yeah, sadly out of stock. But guys, you're only putting 3 beads onto those central cords. Some of my other designs, I do use more beads. And honestly, when I'm off camera, I can do it without any kind of problem. This happens to me every time. So I'm going to take these beads, I'm going to push them down to the bottom of the tool. And I always like to start and get us down a little bit further, guys. So bear with me as I adjust and let the camera adjust so you can see this. So I always do like 2 or 3 knots up top. So in my sample, I've got 3 knots up top. So I'm going to start on the right-hand side and I'm going to create a P. So see the P like this. And then I'm going to take the left cord, I'm going to put it over, so right here, and then I'm going to go up underneath those core cords and up through that P. And I'm going to pull that tight. That is a half square knot. Then I'm going to do the exact opposite. So it's like the mirror option of the P. So a backwards P. So I've got my P over here. I've got my right hand cord and I'm going to push that over under the 2 core cords and up through that opening. And that will create a square knot. That's hard to see because this is kind of masking it, but we'll get a couple more in here. So again, you're going to take your cord, create a P. You're going to take your other cord, put it over, under those core cords, pull it up through that loop and pull it tight. And you don't have, what we're doing is a square knot. So if you only do half of a square knot, it's going to create a completely different look for you. That is also a very easy peasy macrame knot. Let me grab this. That is also a really easy peasy macrame knot. So you could most certainly do that. And I think it could also work for this design because we're really, we're just securing our beads on. So I'm just checking. I think we need to do one more. And no matter what tool you're working with, or if you're working off of your workstation, your table, and taping things down, you just do the same process to create your knot. Tighten that up And then you're going to come in and create the other half of your square knot, one side, one on the other. And then sometimes I give it a little squish, and it's hard to see that, but you've got those pretty little square knots up top. Only the half version look. Now that would change this design pretty dramatically. So totally up to you, but that is an option, and that is a macrame macrame design option that you can take. So I'm going to now create these flowers here. So this is pretty fun. The daisy flowers have been all over jewelry designs of late. So I'm pushing down my first yellow bead that's on both of my cords, my core cords. And I'm gonna add beads to my cords. So I'm gonna take my 8/0 seed beads, and I'm going to, actually, I always struggle with which side to put them on. I'm gonna take 3 beads and cord, my each working cord. So our cords that are free, and you can see I'm adding beads, letting them drop down, and then I'm going to add 3 beads to the other cord. So we're going to basically create a frame around that yellow bead that we pushed up. Now, options that are endless for beads that you can use. So you could pick all different beautiful colored beads and create some fun flowers. So we're going to do we're going to even there. I want to make sure that creating that P, I'm going to bring my other cord up, and I'm going to push those beads up and get my first half of my square knot done. Let me show you what that looks like. So there's the first half. Now to complete my square knot, I'm going to come around and I'm going to do the second knot, and that's going to really lock those beads in place. So I'm sorry, that's still pretty close to the tool there. So what I did on this design was 2 square knots. So we did 3 to start. We added our 1 square knot done. I'm going to come around and complete my spacer knots. And once I do the knot on both sides, I'm completing that square knot. Now I've got 2 knots there. Okay. Now I'm going to pull my next bead down the base of our tool, and I'm going to add my seed beads again to my work. Certainly you can do smaller beads here. I showed you a couple designs in the beginning using 15/0s. There's a reason I didn't show you 15/0s today, because they are a little tougher to get on. 11/0s also work. So it's just a matter of design preference. If you're picking out beads for this project, you've got so many options because there's different sizes, different colors, different finishes. Okay, there's our next flower ready to bloom. And I'm going to come in and just create my next P, pull that cord around, and I'm going to get my cord with the first half of my knot and the first half of my flower. Then I'm going to come around and create the second part of the knot, and that's going to secure my flower, make that pretty little flower. I love these pink beads. The color on this one is Inside Color Crystal Cotton Candy Lined. And the yellow one is a silver lined milky light jonquil. And that is probably one of the most lovely yellows I've seen in a seed bead. So I'm going to add my second square knot, and then we can do our last little daisy flower. So we've got our 2 knots there. I'm going to pull down that last yellow seed bead that's on both cords. And yes, I do have seed beads all over my table here because I knocked them over. This is, this is a little bit different than you might do it if you were just sitting at home and creating at your work table. I much prefer the more relaxed making when, the beads are just all kind of flowing. There's always that added pressure of being on camera where it just doesn't always work the way it should. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. So there I've got my next flower ready to go. And I'm going to take my cord and pull it up there and get that flower positioned. I just love when you see it come together. It's the second knot though. It's the second half of the square knot that makes it beautiful. So now you've got all 3 flowers. So pretty. So Angie says she spills the beads all the time. I actually am so clumsy. Like that's just my MO. Like I fall, I trip, I bump into things, I spill things, I drop things. That's just me. I'm just a klutz. So, okay, here's the first half of our design. Thank you, Tanya. These are just the cutest little daisies. You could stop here. This could be your whole earring. If you just want a small, shorter earring, this is lovely. It's cute. And again, all of the cording options, all of the fun, different bead options. So many ways to do this. But I thought I would show you a second way to make flowers here and kind of switch it up a little bit and make this fun. So we're gonna do a little bit of fun with those yellow beads and create that second little kind of cluster flower. So I've got 4 beads here. I've got 2 on one cord and 2 on the other cord. And what I want to do is I still want to use 1 bead. So I'm going to pull my first bead in line down to where I'm doing this. So down to where we're working here. And I'm going to take 3 beads. So this bead is on my left. So I'm going to take my yellow beads. Let me move my pink beads out of the way. I'm going to take my yellow beads and I'm going to add 3 beads to the cord on the left. And if your first bead is on the right, you would do it on the right. So what I'm going to do is get that bead up there close to those last 2 knots. And I'm going to start on the side. Actually, I've got 4 beads on there. I'm glad I caught that. I'm going to start on the right like I have been. And we're going to pretend, oh gosh, we're going to pretend like those beads aren't there. So we're going to make that P again on the right. We're going to come around and go under the cords and through that loop. And this takes just a touch finagling. So I'm just kind of pressing that center bead up a little bit. And it's kind of creating a little flower. Okay, like a little half flower. And then I'm going to create my opposite P and do the same thing, and we're going to secure that tight. So we've got that little cluster, that little flower right there. So let me show you that up close. Little cluster there. And then I did do 2 knots again between these little clusters. So I've done 1 knot to secure it. And then a second knot is going to be my kind of my next spacer, so to speak. So to create that separation between the next cluster. And then I'm going to take my, oh, and you know what I did? I had 3 beads on one cord. We can fix that. So I've got 1 bead over here on this cord, and actually no, they are on different cords. Okay, I'm seeing things. So here's this one, and it's over here on this side now. So on this cord, I'm going to add 3 beads. So I'm going to grab 3 of those yellow beads. And another design alternative for you guys, if you were interested, is you could do the opposite of what we did for the above. So we used the yellow for the center and the pink for the outside. You could switch that up and do pink and yellow. Just an idea, just a thought. So now our beads are here. We're just going to pretend like they're not there. We're just going to do our knots. We're just going to get our beads on here and secured with that first knot. And sometimes it doesn't want to stay tightened up, but once you get the second half of your knot done, you're going to get that secured. So I've got 1 knot on, and that's creating a fun little cluster like that. And move all my spilled beads out of the way. And now I'm going to do my second knot, which creates a little bit of separation between those clusters, and get that square knot done. You got to do it 2 times, once on each side in order for it to be a square knot. Then I'm going to pull up this other bead here. And that one is on the left there, but my cords are a little bit wonky, which I can actually fix. So I'm going to actually pull this. I'm going to fix that. So that's one of the cool things about a loom like this or a tool like this, is if you've got some things that need to be repositioned, you have the ability to do that because you can undo this portion here. And if you're taped to your, your work table, you can untape it and fix that. Okay, so I'm back over here. I've got one that pulled up from the left, and I'm going to take 3 more beads, add to my cord, and let those drop down. I'm going to start on the right again, and I'm going to take my cord, put that up through the P, and get my first little knot there to tighten up or to secure that. And then the second one is really going to get it tightened up. So, and I'm going to push that little center bead up a little bit. And then I'm going to create my second knot, get that done, and complete our square knot by doing the other side. So now we've got 3 of our little clusters. I've got 1 more bead. I'm going to push that down, and I'm going to add beads to my working thread on the right. These yellow beads are so pretty. They are just such a lovely color of yellow. I'm so obsessed with yellow. This yellow color is just beautiful. So I'm going to push that guy up, and then I'm going to do my first half of my square knot. And it's going to create some, some cording here that you can see, which I think is part of the bohemian vibe of these earrings. Like, let's look at the cord. Let's see that pretty cord. It's beautiful. So we're down at the bottom. We've got our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what? I did 6 on this one. I sure did. So that's okay. This is a sample. This will be our second version of this. So you can see what it looks like with lesser beads. This might be more your vibe, a little shorter look. But at the end of my piece, I ended with 3 knots. So I started with 3 up top, I ended with 3 at the bottom. So I've got one that has secured everything, and I'm going to go around and create my second one. And we have to go on both sides to create our square. And those square knots should be nice and tight on this cord. So I always give it a tug on both sides and make sure that it looks nice and uniform. So that's what those 3 little knots will look like at the bottom. So this is our modified version of this guy, shorter. And I should have just told you that's what I was intending to do, but I did not intend, I intended to make the pear, but these could be a little asymmetrical. I'm always trying to look at the bright side, you know, let's make these asymmetrical. I'm getting all of these beads picked up and out of my way. Now, you know, not terribly important if you don't have this tool, but now that I've got these knots here, I've got knots at the top, knots at the bottom, this is all secure. So I can take this right off of the loom. So I've taken off the bottom and I've got all my excess cord here, and I can take this off up here and I can pop that off. And now we have our earring without an ear wire and without anything on the bottom. So this is what we look like. Super fun, super cool. Now, before I actually talk through the end of this, I want to set us up for our giveaway today. So we're coming to the end of the show. I want to make sure we do our giveaway. So if you're over on Facebook or YouTube, if you want to come over to beadaholique.com/live, that's the only place we can see your comments while we're live. So come on over. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to come over, and then I'm going to ask our trivia question. So let's talk about finishing. I'm going to show you my examples again. So this one, let's see, hi, do you put a bit of glue to secure the cord? I'll talk about that in a second, Dee. Thanks, Tara. So there's lots of different ways that you can take care of your ends. Now, I cut this one. Thank you, Debbie J. I cut this one to make the bottom have like a little cross. So you've got 4 cords. You've got 4 pieces of cord here. So I actually trimmed these up and made this kind of a funky little fringy thing at the bottom. You can also, you can take the ends and fray them. So I'll show you how to do that in a second because I kind of like that look. I'll show you how to make that happen. You can also do this. So you can create these little long drapey pieces and put beads at the end. So I love this look. This is one of my favorite pairs of earrings. This was from the YouTube video, and I wear these pretty often. I love these. I think these have a really cool vibe. All of these little danglies. I used alternating beads here too, so you could do all kinds of fun things. And then I fringed out the bottoms. So just a reminder, if you want to be part of the giveaway, come over to beadaholique.com/live, and we're going to do that in just a minute. So let's talk about glue. Glue is something that you can skip if you want. So you can take your 4 cords and you can tie a knot at the bottom. So I always have to make sure I've got all 4 cords. So this is a little bit challenging. So take all 4 cords, hold them together, create a loop, and then you're going to take your 4 cords and pull them through that loop, and then you're going to create a knot at the base of your square knots. So I kind of covered mine up a little bit there, but this is secure. This will secure, and you don't necessarily need glue. Now, sometimes I'm a fan of glue, sometimes I'm not. If you like glue and you want that extra security, you can grab some GS Hypo Cement. So let me grab mine. I'll show you. This is what it looks like. This is the only product I use for this kind of cording. I do not like E6000 or any of those other glues. They are too stiff on this kind of cording. So just open it up and dab just the very tiniest little drops on all four sides of your knot. You could also come up here and drop it onto this knot up top. Totally up to you if you want to do that, but this is secure. This is completely secure like this. So let's stop there. Let's do our giveaway. So for those of you that are watching on beadaholique.com/live, I am about to ask a question. I'm going to ask a question, and the first person in the comments with the correct answer is going to win two packages of Amiette cord. So you could do a similar project to me, take the two different colors, or you can use this cording for, use one color, or you could use this cording for so many other things. This is my jam. I love Amiette cord. It's fantastic. So come on over, you guys. Let's win some Amiette cord. It will be a just random pick of cording. You'll get two, and you'll be off to the races to make some macrame earrings. So I thought I would look up a little trivia. Now, according to Google, here's the question. And again, the first person to put the right answer, the correct answer in the comments, will win the Amiette cord. So according to Google, in what century was macrame invented or first created? I'm sure Google can tell you that fairly quickly. So the question is, in what century was macrame invented or created? First person to get that answer correct in the comments will win some Amiette cord. I see the correct answer. Michelle is our official winner declarer. She will be able to declare the winner. I did see it quite early, probably the fifth or sixth one down. I see lots of folks jumping in, and I think Michelle said congrats to our winner, Sherry. Sherry, you were right. 13th century. The 13th century. There's actually a really interesting history about macrame, you guys. So if you want to grab a cup of coffee or a soda or a glass of wine and read up on macrame, it's really interesting. There's a great Wikipedia entry about macrame, lots of fun stuff about it. So if you're interested in learning about macrame, there's lots of great stuff about it. Super interesting. Okay. So we talked about glue, my friends. Congratulations, Sherry, and thank you all for playing along. That was fun. So let's just finish this up. I want to talk to you about how you can create a little fringy accent to your design. So if you just want to create a little bit of fringe, what you're going to need is a pair of scissors to trim off the cord at your desired length. Now look at that. That looks pretty too. That looks pretty right alone by itself. You get those two colors that kind of blend nicely together, but that little bit of nuanced difference is kind of cool. So you could leave it just like that and save your excess cord, friends, because you never know when you might need a little piece of cord for all kinds of things. I always stash this away. I have a little bag next to my table here that I drop everything into. Now, this is the way I like to do fringe. So I just put a piece of cardboard down on my workspace because I don't want to scratch up my table any more than it already is. And I'm going to grab my beading awl. Unfortunately, these are also out of stock, sold out, not available here at Beadaholique.com. But I take a beading awl. You could probably use a needle or some other kind of tool. And I just try and get in, let's see if I can get a little bit closer. I just try to get in between the plies of my cord. So this ambient cord is fray resistant. So it is resisting the fraying on me. Let me see if I can actually get it started. Once you get it started, it actually will fray quite nicely with force. So there we go. So it's going to create this really fun little fringe look. And I like this. It is kind of goes along with that bohemian vibe. So I want to get in and grab each one of the plies and kind of unwind it and get that little bit of frayed look. So it almost looks like our crimped hair from the 80s. So like that. So you could just go all the way up to the end, fray it out. You can do a couple that are frayed, a couple that are not, and you can get it really frayed like this one. So I spent a lot of time fraying this one. So this is how it will look. And you can use a little bit of like fray check. There's a material, a liquid material called fray check if you want to calm it down a little bit. You could also use a little bit of lotion, just a touch of lotion, and just put that onto your little frayed tassel. But the only thing you need then is a pair of ear wires. And unfortunately, ear wires are running short at Beadaholique.com. So the silver ones that I have were not available. So, but this is, I think I saw a couple people say it. You could just attach this to one of those large lobster claws to make it a purse charm. You could make this a pendant. And if you create a pattern, you can do this as a bracelet as well. I love this. This is so fun and joyful and fabulous. So I'm going to flip my camera up. Let's close this bad boy down for the day. Thank you guys so much for being here. Congratulations to Sherry on her win. She's going to get some ambient cord. Sherry, I hope you get some great colors and you can do some fun things with it. Maybe even try some macrame earrings, maybe. Here's our little pretty flower earring. That's what it would look like on. It's just a fun piece. Here's how these longer ones look. So they are very long, very shoulder duster, but very fun and fabulous and boho. So remember, everybody, we are in closing sale mode. Everything is 40% off. Make sure you close out your carts because everything is in low supply. So somebody could actually sneak those things out of your cart, not intentionally, but just because if you walk away from your cart, sometimes those things get popped into someone else's because they're actually making the purchase. So close out those carts. Don't miss out on the goodies that you've popped into your shopping cart. And my friends, Julie will be back on Thursday. I believe she's here at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, I think, on Thursday. So Julie's probably got something really fabulous planned for you. She will also be back next Monday. And I'll be back next Tuesday. So I hope all of you have a wonderful week. I hope that you can make something, maybe make some macrame earrings, and I'll see you again